Good morning, brothers and sisters. This morning I'm going to read a little bit from Galatians chapter 1. I believe I'm going to read verses 13 through 17 this morning. This is Paul talking. It says, "For ye have heard of my conversation in time past in the Jews' religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of God and wasted it, and profited in the Jews' religion above many my equals in mine own nation, being more exceedingly zealous of the traditions of my fathers. But when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb, and called me by his grace, to reveal his Son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen, immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood, neither went I up to Jerusalem to them which were apostles before me, but I went unto Arabia and returned again unto Damascus." There's a few things I want to look at here in this verse. He says, "For ye have heard of my conversation in time past in the Jews' religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of God and wasted it." He said, "For you have heard of my conversation." I know I spoke of this word the other day. Remember, conversation doesn't mean your speech. It does not mean your speech. And just hearing of it doesn't mean you've heard of his speech either. Hearing means to hear and to listen. Comprehend by hearing. To hear what is reported to you. But his conversation is his behavior or his conduct. It's not the way he speaks. It's his behavior or his conduct. The manner of life. "See, you have heard of my manner of life in times past, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of God and wasted it." Paul says, I wasted the church. See that? That word portheo, to destroy, to lay waste, to ravage, to harass. He says, "And profited the Jews' religion above many my equals in my own nation, being more exceedingly zealous of the traditions of my fathers." The traditions. The handing down or over, the tradition. Man's tradition. Verse 15 is the main part I want to look at. It says, but when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace to reveal his Son in me, that I might preach among the heathen." It says, but when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb. Who is he talking about as his mother here? He's not talking about his literal mother, because he didn't become a follower of God and actually become a Christian and following Jesus' authority until the road to Damascus. And he goes immediately from being zealous for his own nation to preaching among the heathen, the thing he just was persecuting. And so therefore it says, who separated me from my mother's womb. He's speaking of his previous Jewish religion as his mother's womb. And God separated him from his mother's womb and called him by his grace to reveal his Son in him. He separated him. He separated him from his previous life. See, Paul was extremely well educated. He was brought up and had went to universities and many schools. He was not a dumb man. He was well educated. But it said, but when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb. Separated. It says to mark off by boundaries, i.e. to set apart. You know, whenever You get separated from your mother's womb. Your mother has supplied all your nourishment, all your feeding, everything. When you get separate from your mother's womb, your nourishment and feeding comes from somewhere else. You don't go back to that anymore. That's amazing, isn't it? Separated. But he's literally speaking about being separated from his previous life and into a new, completely new life. Isn't that amazing? I love you all, brothers and sisters. You have a blessed, wonderful day. Stay strong in the Lord. Jesus loves you.